Man United and Newcastle sent clear message about Benjamin Sesko's family, I'm afraid. Manchester United are keen on signing RB Leipzig forward Benjamin Sesko this summer, but they face a battle with Newcastle United for his signature. Stuart Pearce looked back on his experience as a football manager and offered one cruel fact all clubs must remember: most players and their families want to live in London, Manchester and other major cities in the UK. Stuart Pearce looked back on his experience as a football manager and offered one cruel fact all clubs must remember: most players and their families want to live in London, Manchester and other major cities in the UK. Since Alexander Isak informed Newcastle United that he would like to leave, the Magpies have been linked with a move for Sesko. Eddie Howe's side are in a position to offer Champions League football and the involvement in a football project which has been amassing a huge amount of momentum. But while United are not in Europe's Elite Cup competition next season, Pearce believes Manchester's vibrant city life still provides clubs like United with a bargaining chip in attracting players. I found out through my experience as a manager in the Premier League that players want to play in the Champions League, Pearce told the Manchester Evening News. That's a big part of what they want to do. That's the first thing they ask. Are you in the Champions League? A lot of players want to be near the big cities. They want to be near Manchester, they want to be in London and their families want to be there. You're fighting, geographically, if you are up in Newcastle and that's just the nature of a footballer's mentality, I'm afraid. They might be drawn to whether they have friends at other clubs as well, or friends of their wives and families are a big part of that. United appear to be embroiled in a transfer battle with Newcastle for Sesko's services. The promising Slovenian is amongst Europe's most coveted prospects and had previously caught Arsenal's eye, before the Gunners shifted their focus towards securing Viktor Gyökeres from Sporting CP. Newcastle's summer dealings hint they may be waging an uphill struggle in their pursuit of Sesko. Whilst they did secure former United winger Anthony Elanga from Nottingham Forest for £55 million, the majority of their priority targets have rejected the club's advances. João Pedro, Bumo, Liam Delap, Cunha and, most recently, James Trafford were all courted by the Magpies, but opted join Chelsea, United and Manchester City. Now the Magpies, who are competing in the Champions League, face the prospect of losing star striker Isak. Saudi Arabian outfit Al Hilal and Liverpool are the leading contenders for his services. The player reportedly carries a colossal price tag of around £150 million, which would make him the most expensive Premier League of all time, by a huge distance. Isak was notably absent from Newcastle's pre-season tour to Asia with his teammates. Howe has consistently maintained that the star is not on the market, but concedes that his influence over the situation is limited. He recently said, "He is still our player. He's contracted to us. We, to a degree, control what is next for him. I would love to believe all possibilities are still available to us. My wish is that he stays, but that's not in my full control." Why location matters more than money, the Real story behind Benjamin Sesko's transfer battle. Picture this: you're one of the hottest young strikers in Europe. Two big English clubs want to sign you. Both offer great money and playing time. But there's one question that might decide everything: where would your family be happiest living? This is exactly what Benjamin Sesko faces right now. The RB Leipzig forward has caught the attention of both Manchester United and Newcastle United. But according to Football Insider Stuart Pearce, there's one factor that could tip the scales in Manchester United's favour, and it has nothing to do with tactics or transfer fees. But here's the thing: when you're that good, clubs come calling. And right now, two Premier League giants are knocking on his door. The battle between two giants, Manchester United and Newcastle United, couldn't be more different right now. United, despite their recent struggles, remain one of the biggest names in world football. They've got history, tradition, and Old Trafford, one of the most famous stadiums in the world. Newcastle, on the other hand, are the new kids on the block. With their Saudi-backed ownership, they've got money to burn and big ambitions. They are building something special on Tyneside and want players like Sesko to be part of that journey. So who has the upper hand? You might think it comes down to money or playing time. But Stuart Pearce, who's managed at the highest level, has a different take. The family factor, why it changes everything. Pearce dropped a truth bomb that many fans don't think about. He said that most players and their families want to live in major cities like London and Manchester. It sounds simple, but this preference can make or break transfer deals. Think about it from Sesko's perspective. He's not just choosing a club, he's choosing a place to live for the next few years. If he has a partner or family, their happiness matters too. And let's be honest, not every city offers the same lifestyle. But why does this give Manchester United an advantage over Newcastle? Manchester versus Newcastle, the lifestyle battle. Manchester is England's second city. It's got everything you'd expect from a major European hub: restaurants, shopping, entertainment, and culture. For a young footballer with money to spend, Manchester offers endless options. The city also has a huge international community. This matters more than you might think. When players move to a new country, having people from similar backgrounds around them helps with the transition. Newcastle, while a fantastic city with passionate fans, is different. It's smaller, more isolated in the northeast of England, and doesn't have the same international feel as Manchester. The weather can be harsh, and for someone from Slovenia, the cultural adjustment might be bigger. Now, this doesn't mean Newcastle is a bad place to live. Many players have thrived there. But when you're choosing between two options, these details matter. What does this mean for Newcastle's ambitions? Newcastle's owners have big dreams. They want to compete with the best clubs in Europe. But Pearce's observation highlights a challenge they face that money alone can't solve. How do you convince top players to choose Newcastle over Manchester, London, or other major cities? It's not impossible, but it requires more than just offering big wages. Some clubs have found creative solutions. They might offer better housing, help with family integration, or provide services that make life easier. But the basic appeal of living in a major city is hard to overcome. This is why Newcastle might need to be smarter in their recruitment. They might focus on players who value other things more than city life, maybe those who prioritize playing time, or players from smaller cities who won't mind the change. The Sesko decision: what really matters? So what will influence Sesko's choice? Money will definitely play a part. Both clubs can afford him, but one might offer more than the other. Playing time is another factor. Where will he get more chances to start and develop? United have been struggling to find a consistent striker, which could work in Sesko's favour. Hello everyone, welcome to Man United transfer news. Mason Greenwood has officially returned to Manchester. United in a jaw-dropping £80 million transfer from Marseille. After lighting up League One with 21 goals last season, the 23-year-old forward is back at Old Trafford and ready to lead United's attack once again. This massive move has stunned fans and rivals alike, as Greenwood becomes one of the most expensive signings in the club's history. United manager Ruben Amorim reportedly made Greenwood his top priority, and now the prodigal talent is back where it all began. With no buyback clauses and huge expectations, this transfer could define United's season. Before we dive into this news, let's talk about this updates from United Evening News. Mason Greenwood transfer price skyrockets again as Man United set for huge windfall. Manchester United transfer news as Mason Greenwood's future move could help United receive a hefty windfall. 1 year on since Mason Greenwood left Manchester United and the forward stock is higher than it was in England. Greenwood was sold by United for £26.5 million last summer after the club decided to move him on. After being suspended by United and returning to football with Getafe, Greenwood moved to France to join Roberto De Zerbi's Marseille. In his first season, the 23-year-old scored 22 goals and provided another 6 assists in 36 games to help Les Pochins record a second-placed finish. With Champions League football coming to the Stade Velodrome this season, Greenwood will be offered the chance to showcase his ability on the biggest stage. However, with the transfer window open for another month, another transfer hasn't been ruled out yet. Links to Saudi Arabia have been ever present throughout the window, with Al Hilal, Al Ittihad and Al Nassr all reportedly keen. A move hasn't yet gathered pace, but the window in Saudi Arabia doesn't close until September 2nd. As a result of a 50% sell-on clause included in Greenwood's move to France, United will be keeping a close eye on the situation for the rest of the window. Any sort of potential profit made on the forward by Marseille will be United's, and it could see the Reds stand to gain. French outlet L'Equipe have revealed that a source close to the situation has claimed, basically, if OM sells him for €50 million, £43.2 million, they will have bought for him for €50 million, £43.2 million, and will have recovered €25 million, £21.6 million. Given his performances, the strong interest shown by Saudi clubs this summer, and his age, it's a safe bet that Greenwood will leave for a hefty sum. According to football data site Transfermarkt, Greenwood's market value is at its highest since he left United. Before he joined Marseille, his value had risen from an enormous drop-off during his suspension to over £20 million. 1 year later, and Greenwood is now estimated to be worth €40 million, £34.6 million, which is already above what United got for him 12 months ago. If he was to move on for that fee, United would receive a further £15 million windfall. The Mason Greenwood transfer masterclass: how Manchester United turned a problem into a gold mine. Picture this: a year ago, Manchester United had a player they couldn't keep. Fast forward to today, and that same player might just hand them the biggest transfer windfall in recent memory. Welcome to the incredible story of Mason Greenwood's journey from Old Trafford outcast to European sensation. The journey that nobody saw coming. Let's be honest, when Mason Greenwood left Manchester United last summer, few people expected what happened next. The 23-year-old forward had been suspended by United, spent time on loan at Getafe, and then moved to France to join Marseille. It looked like a career that was heading downhill fast. But sometimes football has a funny way of surprising us all. What actually happened at Marseille? Here's where things get really interesting. Greenwood didn't just settle into life in France, he absolutely exploded onto the scene. Under Roberto De Zerbi's management at Marseille, the young English forward found his scoring boots in a big way. The numbers tell an incredible story. In just 36 games, Greenwood scored 22 goals and provided 6 assists. That's nearly a goal every other game. To put that in perspective, that's the kind of form that gets you noticed by the biggest clubs in Europe. But it wasn't just about individual success. Greenwood helped Marseille finish second in Ligue 1, which meant something huge: Champions League football. Suddenly, the Stade Velodrome would be hosting Europe's elite competition, and Greenwood would get the chance to show his skills on the biggest stage of all. The transfer fee that changed everything. Now, here's where Manchester United's business sense really shines through. When they sold Greenwood to Marseille, they didn't just take the money and run. They were much smarter than that. United sold Greenwood for £26.5 million, which seemed like a decent fee at the time. But the really clever part was what they included in the deal: a 50% sell-on clause. This means that if Marseille ever sell Greenwood to another club, Manchester United get half of whatever fee they receive. Why is this so important? Because Greenwood's value has gone through the roof. The Saudi Arabian gold rush. Here's where the story gets really exciting. Reports are coming in that Saudi Arabian clubs are circling around Greenwood like sharks around fresh meat. Al Ahly, one of the biggest clubs in the Saudi Pro League, has reportedly put in a bid worth €70 million for the English forward. But wait, it gets even better. Some reports suggest that Saudi clubs might be willing to go as high as €90 million to secure Greenwood's signature. That's more than 3 times what Marseille paid for him just 1 year ago. Can you imagine turning a £26.5 million investment into a potential €90 million payday in just 12 months? That's the kind of business that makes football executives lose sleep with excitement. Manchester United's masterstroke. Now here's the part that will make United fans smile from ear to ear. Remember that 50% sell-on clause we mentioned? Well, if Greenwood moves to Saudi Arabia for €70 million, Manchester United would receive approximately €35 million. That's more money than they originally received when they sold him to Marseille. Let that sink in for a moment. United could actually make more money from selling Greenwood than they got when they first let him go. It's like selling your old car and then getting paid even more money when the new owner sells it to someone else. Pure genius. If the reported €90 million bid becomes reality, United could be looking at a windfall of €45 million. That's serious money that could fund new signings, improve facilities, or strengthen the squad in other areas. Why are Saudi clubs so interested? You might be wondering why Saudi Arabian clubs are willing to spend such huge amounts on Greenwood. The answer lies in the ambitious vision of the Saudi Pro League. Saudi Arabia has been investing billions of dollars to make their league one of the most attractive in the world. They've already signed global superstars like Cristiano Ronaldo, Karim Benzema, and Neymar. Adding a young, talented player like Greenwood to that list makes perfect sense. Greenwood offers something different from the older superstars already in Saudi Arabia. At 23 years old, he's entering his prime years and could become the face of the league for years to come. His pace, skill, and goal-scoring ability would light up the Saudi Pro League.